KDK, and we are excited to share with you what we've developed after thinking about how we might combat a sense of urgency for millennials and Generation Zs involved with fighting homelessness. As we live our lives, many of us fail to realize how similar we truly are. We don't realize that we're often just one wrong turn or one bad day away from homelessness. Imagine getting sick, losing your job, coping with a mental illness, combating a drug addiction, or losing family connections. These are often the occurrences that result in displacement. Today in the streets of Oakland, there are over 35 people experiencing homelessness. On average, most people claim homelessness by the age of 30. A majority of that population consists of women and children, who make up 60% of the Bay Area's homeless population. I'd like to turn things over to Johnnie, who can give us a better overview of our solution.
Thanks, Kathy. We've developed a social media campaign called How I Got Here, designed around an interactive experience that will help younger generations build empathy and realize that homelessness may be one decision away. Our experience asks users to go through a series of decisions and then shares the story of an individual whose life closely followed that path. This will be followed by a call to action, asking the user to share the results of the experience on social media and make a donation. The success of this campaign will be measured in terms of number of results shared, number of posts using the hashtag HowIGotHere, and number of dollars donated. We're confident that this campaign will be a success, given that 89% of people between the ages of 8 and 29 use social networking regularly, and 87% of millennials have shown desire to make purchases that have environmental or social benefit. Plus, we know that interactive content has a 70% conversion rate, as opposed to 30% with passive content. Now, we'll turn things over to Kat to give us a demonstration of our experience.
So now I'm going to walk you through the user experience. We built this user flow using Adobe XD, and the illustrations were created with Procreate. For our localhost web application, we built the backend using JavaScript, Node.js, Express and Handlebars, and HTML and CSS for the front end. Here's what the user experience looks like. Throughout the experience, the user will follow a decision tree that models the choices that people make that lead them to homelessness. Here's an example of a decision. Your boss calls and tells you that you're fired. Unfortunately, you only have enough money from your last paycheck to pay rent or buy food. What do you do? Once the user ends the experience, they'll have an opportunity to read a true story that most aligns with the path that they selected. They also have the opportunity to donate and share on social media. Really quickly, here's an example of our web application that models this user flow. And finally, an example of what the campaign looks like on social media.
As you can see here, the path that I chose was very similar to Corey and Aubrey's journey. Corrine started off her adult career as a nurse and took on private work to be able to afford her rent. As you can imagine, the exhaustion associated with working multiple jobs quickly led to burnout and, unfortunately, depression. Corrine started missing rent payments, which led to homelessness. Luckily, she found her way to the Bay Area Rescue Mission and was able to get back on track. Corrine ultimately transformed the shopping area at the Bay Area Rescue Mission and is currently able to bring happiness and love to others recovering from homelessness. We'll ask that you consider making a donation on behalf of Corrine so that shoppers might have something nice, like new underwear, to enjoy. We designed this solution with the Bay Area Rescue Mission in mind, but have quickly realized this interactive media could be utilized by any nonprofit seeking to spread awareness about homelessness. We're confident this experience will increase empathy and create a sense of urgency and inspire millennials and Gen Zs to engage in the fight against homelessness.
Hi everyone, welcome to Hackathons International. Girls in Tech San Francisco actually held a hackathon and we've got the winning team here with us, which is fantastic. So we've got Deanna, we've got Kat, we've got Johnnie, and we've got Kathy. Hi ladies, how are you?
Hello, doing well.
Seems like this is a mini reunion for the team, having completed the hackathon and now getting everyone back together. So it's so great to interview you all today. So let's get everyone to introduce themselves. So Deanna, do you want to kick us off? Do you want to tell us what you do during the week and why you decided to participate in the hackathon?
Yeah, so my name is Deanna Wardin and I'm usually a tattoo artist. I've been out of work since March because of COVID. So During this time, I have been taking UI and UX courses to try to learn a new skill set. I have a background in graphic design, so I just thought that would be kind of a fun thing. So, and this was my first hackathon, so it's been a cool adventure.
Cool. So, what kind of tattoos have you got on you? Do you have a favorite one?
Oh, I'm fairly well covered at this point. I don't think I have a favorite one. I think I have a couple of least favorite ones, but overall, I like the majority of the work I have on me.
Awesome. I love how you can take the design aspects from your graphical background, put it into tattoos, and then now into UX and UI, because that is so important. That's really great how you translated that over time, especially during COVID-19.
Yeah, I gotta use
Yeah,
my time somehow.
exactly. Why not upskill yourself?
Exactly.
Kat, would you like to go next?
Sure thing. My name is Kat. I am a current student at Oregon State University, but during the day, I am a professional copywriter. And so I joined the hackathon to take the skills that I learned in the classroom and apply it to a sort of real life situation.
And what are you studying right now?
Computer science.
Oh, nice. So you've got a good combination of copywriting skills plus computer science. That's fantastic. Over to you, Johnnie.
Sure. So I was a mechanical engineer and I just finished a full-time MBA program this May. So I've been working as a co-founder of a startup making a smart lock, and it's been really fun and exciting, but it can be a little bit isolating as we're all working remotely and I'm in kind of a new situation with only one other partner. So I was really looking to network, meet some other women, have never done a hackathon before, but always wanted to, but just felt really intimidated because I don't know how to code. And this one really emphasized that there was no coding necessarily. It was going to be primarily women and it was for a good cause.
I love it. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your startup? When did you create that or start working on it?
Yeah, so it's actually someone I know from undergrad who started it. He went through a program with a local accelerator, so he did that last fall, and I ran into him in December at his pitch premiere night, and so I've been helping him since January, writing his business plan and all sorts of fun stuff.
It's a roller coaster ride, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Kathy? Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm a technical analyst at Molina Healthcare, so I do that during the week. But I decided to join this because I've always heard of hackathons, and I'm kind of an entry level Python learner. So I kind of wanted to utilize my skills, and I do a lot of project management at my job. So I just kind of wanted to use a lot of my skills to join this hackathon for a greater cause.
And what did you think hackathons were? And what do you think hackathons are now that you've actually participated in one?
I actually thought there were I thought there was a lot more coding than there actually was. And so that's where I had a lot of intimidation. However, it was actually necessary that everyone had a diverse talent or something to contribute to the project. I think that kind of led to our success. Just so much diversity, so many ideas, and so many different talents.
Amazing. So let's just ask you a couple more questions just to understand your experience and how you got to winning the hackathon. So Johnnie, do you want to tell us, how did your team meet? Did you all know each other beforehand, or are you all complete strangers just working together?
We are all complete strangers living in different cities and for some of us different states. I think the Girls in Tech SF team did a really great job knowing this was a virtual event and helping people create teams. So they had us in a Slack group with a bunch of channels, like one was called I Need a Team, and then everyone created a Trello card with a photo and a little bit of background. So you could really see where people's skill sets were. Like Kathy was saying, we all have different skill set. So we were really looking for that when we formed our team, and it just kind of happened as things popped up. So I sent Kat a Slack message when I saw her posting that she needed a team and she was a developer. And then we posted that we were looking for a UX designer, and Deanna was like, hey, I'm looking for a team. And then we found Kathy at a networking event with the hackathon.
How long did that process take overall?
Like 24 hours, maybe.
So it's good to leave some time, especially for beginners, to like hop onto the Slack chat or channel early, go on Trello, look at the cards and see who's out there, and to have those conversations.
Definitely.
Great. So how did you all come up with your idea? Deanna, do you want to take that on?
Yeah. So before we started the hackathon, we had a presentation from IDOU, and I think that was really helpful to do a brainstorming session. They really got us out of our normal thinking patterns. We had talked about robotic dogs and, reverse cameos and fashion show. I mean, we thought about every possible solution that we could. And then it was kind of fun because then we got to kind of see what people were grasping onto, what they were getting excited about. And yeah, we ended up going with something inspired by a choose your own adventure game, which is not something that you would probably picture being used for a solution to try to bring attention to homelessness. But our target audience was millennials and Gen Zs. So we thought that, that might just work. And then I think the other thing that worked really well for us is actually from your presentation, you had the, assigning the different roles, like the hacker and the hipster and the hustler and I can't think of the last one at the moment, but we all kind of assigned ourselves those roles, and that was super, super helpful to coming up with the solution so we could all focus on what we needed to.
How many ideas do you think you came up with?
I could send you a picture of our little Post-it note board. I started using Google Jam and like taking little squares of every idea.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I love it, because at hackathons you would kind of like put all these like ideas on the board, and it's like everything is everywhere, and then you just came to just one idea, because it shows that there are heaps of ideas, but looking at the ones that are actually empathetic, ones that are for the customer and you understand who they are super important. So Kathy, once you had the idea, the choose your adventure aspect, how did you work together as a team to deliver it?
We actually worked very well, and it was surprising because Kat was kind of the one who brought us all together, so none of us knew who the next person was that was going to be part of the team. But we really came together, and we just brought our talents. And I know I'm very competitive, so I was so worried about the scavenger hunt portion, and then Kat was worried about, there's a timeline, these are things we need to get together. And Deanna was really into design, and Johnnie really took on more of a project management role. So it's just all of our talents working together. And I think we all had one idea, was to win and, to come up with something great. And I think that is also what led to our success.
I love how everyone contributed in different ways. And I don't know about you, but I find that when I go to a hackathon, I get to know someone within 2 days very well, as opposed to 2 weeks or 2 years sometimes, because you're put in such a pressurized environment. That's so great. So Kat, we've heard that you've helped strung the team together. So what kind of tools did you use, or did the team use to help create that MVP that you showed at the end of that presentation?
Yeah, so Deanna, as our staff UI UX designer, created the illustrations with Procreate, really fantastic illustrations. And then she did the user flow using Adobe XD. And then for the web application that we did, I built the back end using JavaScript, Node, and Express, and then the front end using HTML and CSS. And then Johnnie and Kathy built our presentation with Prezi.
It's a wide variety of skills. Did you know how to use all of them before, or were there things or tools that were quite new to you?
Yeah, so I think Deanna was already familiar with Adobe XD and Procreate. I am familiar with JavaScript and HTML and CSS, but I am still a student, so that was it was a lot out of my comfort zone. And I'm not sure if Johnnie and Kathy used Prezi before. Do you want to? Nope. Okay, I'm seeing shaking. Nope. So so I think Deanna was the only vet here, but yeah, for the most part, these are all like relatively new tools that we've used.
That's great.
I've only been using XD for about 3 months, so.
Oh wow,
okay.
still very new as well.
Look at us.
We're all
Straight
constant
up
learners
news.
here. Okay, so let's do a quick wrap around of highlights, challenges, and learnings. Deanna, do you want to start us off? Highlights, challenges, and learnings?
Yeah, I think highlights was just, for me going in, I didn't know what to expect. I was honestly pretty scared. I didn't know if my skill set was going to be good enough. I didn't know who I'd be teamed up with. But it turned out to be an absolutely wonderful weekend with an awesome team, and winning was cool. But it's also really cool that we came up with a solution that I think we all want to actually develop out and that and launch. So I think that's exciting. Challenges for me, I think for me, it was all of the new tech. Like I had never used Prezi, I had never used Trello, I had never used DevPost. Like when Kat's like, oh yeah, just put it on your DevPost. I'm like, I don't know what that is. So, but I think that was awesome. You know, I got exposed to all of this new tech in such a fast-paced environment. Yeah, what was the other? So challenges and
learnings.
Oh, and learnings. Well, yeah, I think, you know, learning how to work on a team, learning how to meet a really short deadline, and then yeah, all of the new tech too. I just think it was a great experience. So.
Fabulous. I love hearing that. Johnnie, would you like to go next?
Sure. I think the biggest learning for me was just kind of like the networking piece. Like, not only did I get to meet these lovely ladies, I also had a chance to connect with a few other people participating in the hackathon, and that they were really cool people as well. And I think some of the challenges were just like keeping track of where everything was, like figuring out how to send each other little bits of information. At one point we were on a video call and I was like, Deanna, just start reading to me and I'll type it, because we couldn't find the best way for her to send the article. And then I think one of the biggest learnings was that it's important to make time for fun too. We were a little bit hesitant, like, do we want to do all these scavenger things? But we ended up having a blast creating everything together.
That's great. I love the fun aspects of hackathons and the scavenger hunt and taking all these photos and finding things. Awesome. Kat, would you like to go next?
Sure. As far as highlights, kind of like what Johnnie said, I think it's good to have a good sense of humor. I don't think we would have been able to do as well if we weren't also having fun and playing around and joking and just, you know, being silly. As far as challenges go, I think when you are still learning, it's hard to realize that your prototype isn't going to look exactly as your vision, especially within 24, 48 hours. But it's okay, you know, it's just put something up there and it's totally fine. It's what you have. And then as far as learnings go, this one I think, like taken from the IDEO workshop, yes and is a lot easier to work with than no but. So willing to, even if ideas seem totally left field, like, hey, just put it on the board.
I love that, because it's encouraging open discussions and not having that kind of negative barrier, you could say. Kathy, how about you?
I think what was amazing was kind of seeing our design in comparison to other people's designs. I think we worked so hard and it was just amazing to see it all put together. Honestly, I didn't see the final project until they actually played it. So it was nice to see how everything came together. What was challenging for me personally, well, I guess Deanna said as well, was the technology, because I was new to Prezi And when I sent my audio in, it actually wasn't the most clear audio, and it was right before the deadline that we gave ourselves. And so at the last minute, I had to film in another room on another computer and hurry up and send it in, and the files were so large. So it was just amazing seeing everything come together after, all the stress and anticipation.
I love at the end of the hackathon where it's like, oh my goodness, after all this hard work, you see the final result and you actually create a tangible outcome out of it. I think that is so satisfying. So, Deanna, you mentioned that you might want to carry on with this project. What's next for the team?
Yeah, we had talked about it. The Bay Area Rescue Mission seemed excited about it. And we had a lot of fun doing it. So we don't have a set deadline yet. I think we were talking about trying to meet this weekend and do it kind of casually, just because we all have very busy lives, but well, not so much me at the moment, but in general. But yeah, I just think that it's a really cool project and with a really good cause, and we all had fun doing it. So I think we want to try to see it through.
Fabulous. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for taking the time to be part of this interview and sharing your experiences. I'm sure a lot of us have learnt so much from this interview. So hopefully we'll see you at another hackathon. See ya.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.